523.23. All right. We're going to start learning about the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem developed by Pythagoras, the Greek mathematician, hundreds of years ago. When was Pythagoras born? 570 BC.
So like 2,000 years ago?
Like yesterday?
250? 2,500?
Yes.
Yep.
I met him. So like 1 times 2,500?
So yeah, thousands of years.
Thousands of years ago. Also hundreds of years ago.
Thousands and hundreds.
All right.
Far
away. All right. Pythagoras said this is only true for a right triangle. Okay? This is only true for a right triangle. Not true for an obtuse or an acute triangle. Only true for a right triangle. He said that if you have a right triangle, what makes it a right triangle?
90 degrees.
Has 90 degrees. I need you on task. All right. He said that if you add the two legs of the triangle, when you square them, it will equal to the hypotenuse squared. Totally makes sense, right? So this is called the leg. This is called the leg. And this is called a hypotenuse. 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 I think that's how you spell it. Yes.
If you have a quiz on how to spell these words, then I'm probably most of the second part.
Okay. In use. Okay, yeah, I did spell it right. All right. So he decided to call the legs A, a leg B, and your hypotenuse will always be C. A and B can switch places. I don't understand why the phone is in your hand. So you have a leg A and a leg B, and always your hypotenuse is C. What makes this the hypotenuse? No, it's the opposite of your 90 degrees. So whatever side is opposite your 90 degrees, that will always be called your hypotenuse. Your legs make up the 90 degrees. So this line is a leg, and this line's a leg, which make up your 90 degrees. So
Doesn't those two the legs right now?
okay. All right. So what he discovered by hypothesizing and testing it over and over again, he discovered that if you do A squared plus B squared, it will give you C squared. He realized that if I'm missing a side of a triangle and I want to solve for it, if I do A squared plus B squared, it is equal to C squared. So that's the formula we have to memorize. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. If you go home tonight and ask your parents, hey guys, do you remember learning A squared plus B squared equals C squared? There's a high probability that your parents will say yes, followed by, I don't remember how to use it, but I do remember learning A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Many times people remember hearing A squared plus B squared equals C squared. They obviously forget how to use it and where to use it and how to use it, but they do remember. It's one of those things that just sticks with them. All right, so let's do a problem. So here I have a right triangle, and this measures 3 centimeters, and this measures 4 centimeters, and we don't know what that measures. We don't have any tools. We don't have a protractor or a compass or anything like that that can help us draw this and measure or anything like that. So we're going to use the formula A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So what's your A?
3 centimeters.
Sure. Could it be 4? Yes. 3 squared plus, what's my b? 4 squared is equal to c squared.
45.
Okay. What's 3 squared?
9.
Plus 4 squared
16.
equals c squared.
Yeah, 25. But then don't you have to so 25 is 25.
I want c by itself. Right now it's c squared. So how do I get it to be just
square root?
c?
No, you do the thing with the, what was it called? Square root. Square root it by.
Yes.
625.
625.
Oh, is that why you don't write them down?
So you didn't listen to us. You did math that we don't need. Does this look like it measures 625? If this is 3 and this is 4? No. We're going to look for it. Remember when I said, when you add these two numbers, remember when we did the inequality where you have to add the two smaller sides and it has to be bigger than this side? So what's 3 plus 4? 7. This number has to be smaller than 7. So, you guys were saying, what do we have to do?
You find the square root.
So, in order to get rid of this little 2, Anthony, why are we looking at our iPad? We have to take the square root. We have to take the square root. So, in order to get rid of this little 2 here and just get c, I undo the little 2 by doing the square root.
So the square root of 25 is 5.
So, the square root of 25 is?
5. So it's 5?
5. Yep.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
But so how come you can't do what I
X
did?
equals 5,
25 times 25.
It's kind of like when you're solving an equation, and the equation is x plus 2 equals 10, and you did this. Did you make the x by itself? No, you just made a bigger problem. You didn't take it away. You like made it a bigger problem. So the 625, you made it quadrupled. Not so.
It was already squared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna undo the square. How do I undo the square? Square root. Easy enough?
Yep.
All right. This is a Pythagorean theorem. It used to be a 7th grade standard.
But I remember hearing these words in like 2nd grade, and I would think they're like to be the most difficult thing in the world.
Same. I thought
It's
this was
not.
like high school stuff. I
No.
thought multiplication was hard.
Right? For some, it still is.
Alright then.
All right. Try that one. Set up your problem.
Do we have to do the triangle there back there?
Yeah. Fine.
So I don't.
I don't know.
Right there, watch.
I don't know.
You say that like every day.
It does not give you a different answer. As long as you put it in the right spot. So, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Are you missing a leg or a hypotenuse? You're missing a hypotenuse. That's one way to get it wrong. You have to realize that this is c. So 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. What's 6 squared?
36.
I don't know how.
Plus 8 squared?
64.
You can look back at your notes, right? I'm not asking you to use a calculator. I'm saying go back to yesterday's notes and go, okay, what's 6 squared? 36. What's whatever squared? All right. Equals c squared. So what's 36 plus 64?
100. Okay, good. Okay.
100 equals c squared.
What we do technically.
We want just c by itself. So
Square root.
square root. Square root. What's the square root of 100?
10.
Told you.
How
I
come?
wouldn't doubt that you actually believe that.
Also, set it back. Should we just put this?
I was gonna say, how come the C is like after 10? That's not how the equation.
I feel like that's the
Yeah.
one that I'll miss.
The square root.
Square root.
Well, it's the only way to do the opposite of squaring. And your numbers have to be kind of the same. 8, 6, 10. If you write 100, you're like, wait, that's too big. It just doesn't
Is
fit.
there a way to do opposite of cubic?
Yes.
There's a cubic root.
Yes, there's a fine. You twisted my arm. I'll show you.
I was asking a question. I was curious. I
No,
didn't
that's
know.
not chicken.
You know.
Is what you need to type in. In this class, you only need the square root, the basic square root. All right. Now let me teach you. Do I want to teach you this?
No.
Can we just go on to the worksheet, please?
Yeah, brain games.
No, actually, no. Let's just go on to the worksheet so we can finish it early and do our homework in class.
Alright then.
So we don't have to do it. Like, we're gonna get it anyway.
Alright, watch stories.
What if today was the last homework day? Or what if yesterday was the last homework day? And you're just asking for more.
Yeah.
No, my really decent from the back.
Oh my god.
All right.
Too bad, too sad.